Called health food is actually the #1 worst food to eat if you want to lose weight, especially if you want to lose fat. Because if you eat these foods, your body releases a torrent of bad hormones. Hormones that convert the food you eat into pure fat. Hormones that inflict cellular trauma and eventually lead to serious illness, even death. You'll also learn the real key to finally sculpting the body you desire. Watch this presentation all the way to the end, and you'll also find out why eating more of your favorite foods and spending way less time working out will actually get you better results, faster. Results you'll see in the mirror, feel in your waistline, and hear from your friends as they beg you, "Tell me your secret." Plus, I'll reveal specific foods which trigger your body to release a flood of fat-melting hormones, hormones that chemically break down fat, literally dissolving years of stubborn fatty deposits from your body at a cellular level to burn them up as fuel. These same hormones restore youthful energy levels, reverse aging, and bottom line, they create strong, healthy humans by unlocking your body's dormant genetics, which I'll explain later. Best of all, you're not required to take any dangerous pills, go on a starvation diet, or do anything that's unhealthy or extreme. By the end, you'll see exactly how to make your weight loss easy, automatic, and permanent by breaking most of the weight loss wisdom you've been taught since childhood. The rules that turned America into the fattest nation in the world. So pay attention because, well, look, you need to hear this because if you eat these types of foods and get everything else right, you'll still never lose fat. But the worst part is, they're a threat to your life. So listen, you need to watch this now because I don't know how long I'll leave all these valuable tips up for free. And if you think you've seen it all, heard it all, and tried it all to lose weight, I guarantee you've never seen anything like this before. I promise you'll be pleasantly surprised when you see just how easy it is to follow these tips to a thinner, fitter you. One tip in particular will completely astonish you. These are the exact tricks that I used to personally lose 31 pounds of pure fat from my midsection. Then I shared them with my mom, dad, and brother, and they lost a total of 164 pounds between the three of them. More on that later. Now remember, I'm about to share exactly how to strip away all those ugly pounds of fat faster than you ever imagined possible, and even more little-known tips for dropping fat by eating more and working out less. First, though, I'm going to share a story with you that's very difficult to relive. You'll see why in a moment. So do me a favor. If you aren't serious about losing weight, stop watching now. This is just too painful for me to share with people who can't relate. People who've never struggled with their weight or felt powerless and out of control because of it. However, if you are serious about losing weight, then I want you to keep watching. Deal? Now look, I wasn't always the guy everyone turns to when they finally get sick of failing and get serious about losing weight. And I certainly wasn't always a best-selling fitness expert or the kind of guy who'd be featured in all these major media outlets. In fact, most of my life I was the exact opposite of who you'd turn to for any kind of health advice. Because when it came to being healthy, I was a train wreck. It began in 2002 when my wife Jean and I lost a child. I began to eat for emotional comfort, to ease my pain, which only left me feeling bloated, disgusting, and like I was less than a man. Sure, on the outside I would smile, but the more overweight I got, the more my life just spun out of control. I fell into a depression so bad I was fired after 7 years of all-star performance at Microsoft. I couldn't pull myself off the couch, and no amount of pills helped. And the binge eating was really starting to take its toll. Yet, I turned to food more and more, sinking deeper into despair. It got so bad my business partner of several years was forced to fire me, and who could blame him? I had lost all self-respect, motivation, and hope. Replacing them with pounds of disgusting lard, a growing self-hatred, and the belief that I deserved to be miserable. My lifestyle choices were so bad that I actually ate my way to diabetes. And no amount of pills could overcome the impact my bad eating habits and complete lack of exercise had on my health. Without any income, I lost our dream home to foreclosure and our cars to repossession. I hated myself, and I took it out on everyone around me. And when my wife couldn't take it anymore, she packed up her bags, took our 4 remaining children 2 states away, and filed for divorce. I have to say, I don't blame her a bit. You might say that this was a pretty dark time in my life, and at this point I thought things couldn't possibly get worse. But I was wrong. They were about to, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. And perhaps you can even relate to the hopeless feeling, and you know that you need to change too. Now for me, it took a very painful experience. It was a Friday afternoon in the spring of 2011 in Murphy, Texas. Outside it was beautiful, sunny, a few clouds, around 80 degrees with a nice Texas breeze. The kind of day I loved spending outside with my kids, enjoying the warm breeze as it gently carried the delicate fragrance of the bright Texas wildflowers. Outside the world was coming to life, yet I was alone, inside my empty apartment, dying, watching the day and my life pass me by through hollow glass, locked in a prison of my own making where no echoes remained of the laughter that once filled the halls of a home. I had lost everything, and I knew that it all came down to one thing. I felt like a big, fat waste of space. I was buried in work, doing my best to dig my way out of a financial nightmare. It felt like I was working inside of a pressure cooker because all of my clients needed all of their work done right now. And here I was, just one guy, alone. Sitting at my desk, the waistband in my size 38 shorts was stretched to the max, and it was digging into my skin because, well, I refused to go buy the size 42 shorts I should have been wearing. I remember how it pressed my gut up so that it was hard to take a deep breath. And I was afraid to take the weekend off because I felt like my clients would kill me. But I had to take the weekend off because it was my one chance to spend time with my kids all week, so I couldn't skip that. I felt I had failed at everything else, but I was determined not to fail as a dad. So I was hoping to squeeze in a couple of movies, maybe some video games with the kids, and basically just veg out on the couch, eating candy, drinking soda, and pigging out, our usual weekend visitation routine. As I sat there, with my mind racing, I felt my phone vibrate. So I pulled it out and saw that my son had just sent me a text. At last, a glimmer of hope in my dark little world. A small smile spread across my face as I thought, he's just as excited to see me as I am to see him. Maybe he texted about a movie he wants to watch or a snack he wants me to grab. Or maybe even just a text to say he loves me and can't wait to see me. Instead, what I saw flooded my last refuge of hope. It broke my heart, and ultimately, it set me free. His words pierced me like a knife through my heart and opened my eyes to just how bad my weight problem had become. Remember how I said I wanted to be a good dad? Well, my son's text said, "Hey Dad, what do I have to do to lose weight? 'Cause I don't want to end up like you." My little boy, who I bounced on my knee, who copied everything I did because he wanted to be just like me, didn't want to be like me anymore. In fact, he wanted to be the opposite of me. I don't think I had ever felt lower. I had failed at the one thing I swore I never would. I had failed my son. I was a bad father. My son did not want to grow up to be like me. And I imagined the worst, my ex meeting a new man who was strong and fit, everything a young man like my son would want to grow up to be. This would expose just how weak and pitiful I really was. I could see my son and his mom sitting in the car talking about me, about what a bad role model I had become, about how he should be nothing like me. And the worst part was, they were right. I had taught my son to be fat and unhealthy, and he saw the writing on the wall. If he followed in my footsteps, he would wind up where I was. Now, I realize that this may not have all been true, but this is how I was feeling at the time. I was so disappointed in myself, angry that I had let my life sink so far. I pushed back from my desk and took a deep breath. Suddenly, work didn't matter. Money didn't matter. Even my ex didn't matter. None of it mattered. This was going to be about my son. And the one burning question that remained, would I really do anything for my son? Or was I too weak and pitiful to even put up a fight? My son wanted to be someone other than me, and right then and there, I wanted to be someone else too. In that moment, driven to the breaking point, I swore an oath. I would change my life. I would take control of my health, and I would lose my huge gut and become the man my son needed me to be. And I was going to do it even if it killed me. Now, I had already been on the yo-yo diet cycle for almost 2 years trying to control my weight, so I knew I had to do something unusual if I was going to lose this weight. And I was determined to find out what it was, even if I had to read every medical research paper ever published, buy every book on weight loss, or travel to a distant land to get answers from a guru at the top of a mountain. So I set out like a mad scientist, digging through medical research, profiling strong, healthy humans, and devouring anything I could get my hands on that I thought might provide me with a clue to changing my body. And I found the answer in the most unexpected of places, in a book about cavemen. Now, when I saw this book, a crazy little thought went through my head that sent me down the path to discovering what it really takes to trigger rapid, safe, and permanent weight loss. I'll tell you what that thought was in a minute and why it holds the key to finally sculpting the body you desire. So keep watching. And remember, despite my success today, I'm no different than you. I'm just a guy who stumbled onto a system that always works. A system that forces your body to melt fat for fuel. And when that happens, you can't help but expose the strong body that's been hiding under your flab. This is a system that lets people like us turn on our fat-fighting hormones so that we lose weight quickly, have more energy, and feel greater confidence throughout the day. This is the system that I use to personally lose 31 pounds. And it's the system that I'll be sharing with you so you can finally experience permanent weight loss too. I'll share all the specific details about it in just a few minutes, but first I need to tell you about the single biggest problem we face in a post-industrial revolution world when we decide we want to lose weight. This is the real secret reason that you pack on the pounds to begin with, yet most people have no idea it's not their fault. Many people believe that they have to take some kind of pill to lose weight, starve themselves, or avoid their favorite foods. The real problem, though, is that you've been lied to for years. And those lies are keeping you from the body you desire and deserve. One of the lies you've probably believed is that you can't eat your favorite foods, or that you have to exercise for hours each week to see any results, and that's not even close to the truth. If you're one of the millions who fell victim to these lies, then you must decide right now to believe the truth instead, because if you don't, you'll continue to suffer needlessly, grow weary trying to keep up with the extreme diets and workouts until eventually, no matter how strong you are, you'll give up. It may be in a moment of weakness at the grocery store or a quick trip through the drive-thru window because you're running late and missed a meal. But whatever it is, and whenever it is, it spells the end of your latest diet and the beginning of your weight climbing a few pounds higher than ever before. Why? Because no human alive can resist the temptation to enjoy their favorite things for the rest of their lives. And I'll tell you why in just a sec. Listen, this is not what I want for you, and I know this is not what you want for yourself. Yet, this is the reason you struggle to lose weight. It's not your fault. If you want to blame something, blame capitalism. Weight management is a $650 billion a year industry. That's big business, and big businesses are run by corporate executives and boards of directors who have a fiduciary responsibility to produce the maximum amount of profit they can for their shareholders who own the company. This means that they can literally go to jail if they neglect that specific duty. And if they ever tell you the truth about how to permanently lose weight without any special equipment, pills, or magic powders, then you'll never buy from them again because you don't need to. And that does not produce the greatest amount of profit possible for their shareholders. So they tell you half-truths, provide disinformation, and spend billions on propaganda campaigns